Okay, we're live.
Hello, hello.
No viewers.
Okay. How do I can't see if there's viewers or not.
Oh, you can't? Okay, I can see them on my side.
So let me know if there's anybody.
We had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we got it all sorted out now.
Okay, is there anybody live?
No.
Okay. So there's a group chat. I hope that works. I don't know if that does work or not.
One viewer.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that we had technical difficulties. So we're going to give people a few minutes here to join. I know we're starting pretty late here. And so I'm going to email the link out to everybody again, just to make sure. Getting a few people. All right, so we'll start in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to make sure everybody is live with us before we get started here. So sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties with our software, and we just had to find a last minute fix to try to get it to work.
At least we're talking about social media, so we can show how this really works. Well, it's a good way to start a Monday, so get hopefully all of the little hiccups out of the way, and hopefully the week from here.
Hopefully everything is just going to be downhill from here. Well, I'm going to Puerto Rico on Wednesday, so I'm sure everything will be pretty much downhill coming.
Puerto Rico, wow, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're staying at the Ritz-Carlton, and it's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to email everybody on my list just to make sure that everybody gets the email. How many people do we have live on now?
I currently have 7 viewers.
Oh my gosh, yay. Okay, so this is good. I've been getting tons of text messages. So I just want to make sure everybody has the new link. So I'm sorry guys that we're starting a bit late here.
I'll send a message out on Twitter too quickly.
Okay, perfect. All right. So thanks guys for your patience. It's going to be a very good webinar. So just hang tight and we will get this thing figured out. So yeah, having major issues with the software that I bought for webinars. So I might just buy a new one because this one's obviously not working out very well. Hello? Oh, I think Kat looks like she's frozen here. So I don't know if you guys can still hear me or not. Hopefully you guys still can. All right, looks like Kat just dropped off. So I'm going to email her and make sure that she joins. Hey, Kat.
Kicked me off for some reason.
Yeah, I just emailed you the new link, so it should be in your email. Sorry, guys, major issues right now. This is probably the...
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you able to join the live? Did you get the email?
I just got it here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And we're back. Can you see the viewers? Hopefully everybody's still here.
Okay, let's start this.
So Kat, can you see the viewers? Is it still, how many people are on? Can you see?
Okay, 9 viewers.
Okay, good. So we have people on here. So we're just gonna get started now. And then while you're getting started, and I'll email people again while you're talking. So sorry guys for the delay here. Don't want to keep you guys too late. I know we're all in different time zones right now. I hope there's not too many East Coast people. I know it's kind of late for you guys there. So I am Sierra. I'm the founder of Young Women Entrepreneurs Club, and I have Kat here. She's been my mentor for several years now for social media, and so I'm really excited to have her speak with you guys. She's very wanted in the in the social media community. She's got a 6-month waiting list just to be her client, if you can. So, you know, I was like, hey, Kat, I want to hire you. She's like, sorry, I have a 6-month waiting list right now. So I'm like, oh, damn. So obviously she knows what she's talking about when it comes to social media. And Kat, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people about what you do and all that good stuff?
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Sierra. And thank you, everybody, for your patience in waiting to jump on this live stream webinar, and apologize for all the holdups. So I'm very excited to be a part of this, and excited for Sierra for inviting me to come and speak as well. I've been in the online space for about the last 13 years, done a number of different things, working in the music industry, to working in corporate with BC Hydro, which is a local company here in British Columbia, utility. And about 3.5 years ago, I decided to step out and to start my own company, and Sierra and I actually partnered on a couple of different projects, and it's really just taken off from there. So I've been very fortunate to have a great opportunity to work with a lot of different companies, big and small. Mostly now today we work with mostly medium-sized companies, helping them with their social media strategies and really helping them to make sense of socials is kind of our tagline, that there's a lot of people out there that tell you you have to be everywhere and do all of these different things. So we really try to take everything back and help you to really make sense of it all, so that it helps you in your business, and instead of just being this other to-do list that you have on the side. I'm going to jump right in, Sierra, and just go right into the presentation.
Yes,
okay, it looks like we're going
to. I was on mute there for a second. Yes, definitely. Go straight into the presentation. Thanks, Kat.
Okay, perfect. So again, hopefully we don't have too many technical errors, but we're going to switch over here and just go to, and I apologize because we're using a different platform. You are going to see some of my colors on the border. But what we're going to talk about today is using social media to help you to thrive online. So social media is a very powerful tool, but it can also be a really big time sucker for a lot of us that get pulled into that, where it's like, I'm going to go online quickly, post something, and just be on there for 5 minutes. And next thing you know, half an hour, 45 minutes has passed by, and you don't know what you've really done with your time. So what we're going to be able to cover today is really helping you to figure out what platforms are best for you, are best for your company, best for your organization. Also looking at just the time and resources you have so that you are not wasting your time with some platforms that might not be the best ones for you. Let's make sure you guys are seeing everything that I'm seeing here. And then we're also going to talk about some strategies to help you engage. And then we're going to talk about some of the 2017 social media trends. So some new things that are coming up, some big new changes in some of the different platforms that you definitely want to be looking at, and then also take some time here to hopefully answer your questions. As Sierra mentioned, we did have a couple of technical difficulties, so we're not sure if we're going to be able to get everybody in on this, but we do have a group chat, and there are some little chat functions here that we can do. So feel free to put your questions in there and ask us for anything you want more clarity about, and we can be able to help you out as best we can with that. So let's dive right into it and get this started. So I shared a little bit about my story, and I wanted to also share this little slide with you. Some of you might be familiar with Matt Astavan, who runs a great and really successful online marketing social media consulting company here in Vancouver, and does a lot of training as well too. And when I first moved back to Vancouver from living out in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, I used Twitter as a really big platform for me to engage with people and get really to help to build my community when I moved back here. So this is one of the tweets that I sent out back in November of 2011. And the response that Matt gave me back after sending this out was that he ran a local meetup and asked me to come by and just check it out to see if I'd be interested in maybe speaking there one day and just connecting with other people. And this one tweet completely changed the way that I do my business, because from attending that one workshop with Matt, it helped me to meet so many people like Sierra, like Jonathan Christian, like just Bosco, tons and tons of people that I became good friends with, that I started to learn from, and I grew my business from. And so it really made a huge impact in my ability to be able to really grow my business. And I think that that's where it's really important to help you to understand that it's not always about those really big campaigns that you do in social. It's sometimes those little interactions that you have every single day that can really lead to big results. So what I want to encourage you to start to think about too is that to remember that social is about being social. We sometimes forget about that social media is there to connect with other people and to build those relationships. And it's a really big piece. So it's also taking that step back and saying, okay, yes, you do need to post about your business, your latest promotion and things you have going on, but it's also about taking a moment to congratulate someone else, to leave a comment somewhere else, and to really build those true connections with people, and you will start to see great things happen. So when we talk about strategies for other companies, it's something we do with a lot of people, is helping them to build their strategies. For most companies, this is what their strategies look like. That they've had this really great idea, they've got this new product that has to go to market, that they have this big campaign that they're going to be managing, and so they've got all these things. Maybe have newspaper ads, maybe they're doing banner ads, maybe they're doing mail outs, all this other great stuff. And then a lot of people go, oh right, we should probably do social media. And they just throw it up there, and then they check that box that says, yep, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account, and we posted it. And that's what most people tend to do. They don't actually stop and think about how they can use social media to really help integrate into everything else that they're doing. Because it's not only about what you want to say, but it's also about what the other people are interested in. And you want to be able to find that nice little center point where you find that relevant content that people want to be able to engage with, are excited about what you have to say, but you also get your message out there. So it's taking that moment to say, okay, social media is an ingredient, not the entree. Social media is not going to make or break your business alone, but it's also a really important piece that if you're not doing it today, chances are you might not be in business 5 or 10 years down the road. So it's looking at all of the different marketing tools that you're using, offline and online, and find a way of how you can bring social media into that piece and bring it all together. So that's a really big part of what you want to be able to focus on. So the best way that you can truly succeed and provide value for people is to learn how to natively storytell on each platform. One of the biggest things we see a lot of people do is that they tend to be on tons of platforms. They might be on 5 or 10 platforms, and they don't have the time to manage every single platform. So what they do is they use tools like Hootsuite or HubSpot, which are fantastic tools when used properly. and they go and they create one post, and then they go and check all of the different platforms that they want to be able to post on, and then they just post it all at once. And so it's really taking a step back and saying, what's the proper type of content to use for Instagram? And how does that differentiate from what you're going to be able to post on Snapchat or how you're going to do things on Twitter? Because they're very different conversations. Instagram is all about those images, and it's really having those beautiful images to tell your story. Whereas Snapchat is really that instant, that real-time communication. And Twitter, you can still do a lot of that real-time communication, have images, but you're limited to that 140 characters. So really taking some time to understand how you want to storytell on each platform, and not taking that one message and spreading it all across every single platform is really key. If you can just take that step back to realize that you need to tailor a message for each platform individually, you'll be miles ahead of a lot of other companies out there. The next most important thing is you really want to think about how you post with purpose. It is better for you to post less and post content that has meaningful content rather than posting every single day or multiple times a day for content that is just mediocre. We have got so much information coming at us nowadays that every single time you turn on any single platform, there's just feeds and feeds and feeds of information that you could never go through it all. So really stop and don't post just for the sake of posting and saying, perfect, I've done my Facebook post for today. Take that step back and really think about what you're trying to communicate, what you're wanting to talk about, and really post with purpose. And we'll talk a little bit more later on here about how you can be able to create content that's really going to engage with people. So the big question everybody asks is, what are the right accounts that you want to have? So what accounts should you be picking that's going to help to grow your business? So if you think about all the different types of accounts that are out there, there is hundreds of accounts, and every single month it seems like there's a new one starting to come on or being talked about. So what you really want to think about is that before you even go and select any of the accounts that you're picking, is that you want to take a step and say, okay, what is it that we're trying to achieve? What are our business goals? What are our objectives? What are the things that we want to do? Yes, one of the goals you might have is that if you do have a Facebook page or an account right now, is you want to get more followers, but getting more followers and getting more exposure doesn't guarantee that you're going to be able to drive more business. So focus on what is it that we're wanting to do with our company. Do you have a new product launch? Are you moving into a new location? Are you releasing a new ebook? Are you wanting to just highlight a new service that you have? Are you wanting to bring more people into your store? Figure out what it is that you are wanting to achieve from the business perspective first, and then start to go and pick your accounts. It's also really important too to understand the resources you have available. Not only the time of how much time can you put into it yourself, or do you have a small team, but also the financial. Because some of these platforms, they do require a little bit of spend for advertising, for really nice graphics, for designs, for contests. So really take that moment to say, okay, what are the resources we have available? And then most importantly, who are you trying to target? If you're trying to target professional CEOs, you might not want to be on Snapchat. Versus if you're looking for maybe a younger demographic, or you're really starting to target yourself to other moms, maybe you're wanting to focus on a Snapchat or an Instagram or something of that nature. So understand where your audience is, not necessarily just where you like to hang out too. So when you've done a little bit of that analysis and you've started to figure out, okay, who's the target audience we're going after? What is it that I have content to be able to share about? What are some of the resources I have in mind? What I want you to start to think about is the types of accounts that you're going to pick and putting them into two categories. For those of you that feel like you have to be everywhere, I'd like you to take a bit of a breath and say, you don't need to be everywhere. And pick on what I like to call primary and secondary accounts. So your primary accounts are those 2, maybe 3 accounts that you focus on regularly. That might be daily or every other day. These are the accounts that you're going to go really deep into, that you're going to really understand how they work, what type of images you're going to be using with them, what type of content engages best, what type of hashtags, what's the best time for you to be posting. You're really going to dive deep into these and get these working really right for you. For a lot of people, they're probably going to be the big ones like your Facebooks, your Instagrams, maybe your Twitter, LinkedIn. They're going to be the big main accounts that you're going to be using. And these are the ones you're going to want to focus on. For many of us, social media is just an added piece that we need to do with our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day business. So it's not realistic for us to have 10 or 12 different social media accounts that we have to manage every single day and do them really well. So just pick those 2 or 3 and focus on those. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is focus on what we call your secondary accounts. These are the types of accounts that either A, you might need them because they're really crucial for your business for search, or you might want to start to dabble into them and just see how they start to work. For any business that is especially a physical location, Google Plus is a perfect example of one of those accounts that might be a secondary account, because you're going to want to make sure you have your location set up properly, your map set up properly, all of your hours of operation and contact businesses there. But it might not be something that you're going to find posting every single day is going to help you to gain new followers or gain new traffic to your website, unless you're using SEO or unless you have a target audience that's really focused in there. Another example might be LinkedIn. So you might be using LinkedIn as a really good opportunity to grow your experience, but it might not be something that you're wanting to be in there every single day. So focus on your primary and then your secondary accounts. And just when somebody comes to you and says, this is the hot new platform that you have to go on, if it's something you do want to explore, make it a secondary account that you might want to test with for a little bit. But if it's not helping you to achieve those business goals, then it's not worth you having in that group of accounts that you're focusing on for your business. If you want to do it personally, that's totally fine. But focus on what's going to help you with your business rather than just picking the hottest new accounts to work from. So for those of you that are maybe wanting to set up some accounts or that you haven't looked at all the accounts you want, this is a really great free tool that I recommend that you check out. It's called NameCheck, and it's spelled just as you see here. What this tool does is that if you've got 2 or 3 different accounts, so say you've got a Facebook account, Instagram account, and you have a Twitter account, and one thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a similar name across all platforms. It's going to help with your branding, and it's also going to make it easier for clients whenever they're wanting to connect with you on multiple platforms to know where to find you. NameCheck is a one-stop shop that you can very easily go in here, type in the username that you're looking for, and it'll automatically go through all of the different social media sites plus URL sites and tell you where they are available and where they're not. So this saves you from going in and creating a Facebook account and getting your username there and then logging into Instagram and realizing it's not available and you have to change it slightly, and then having to go back into Facebook and change it there, only to realize that it's still not available on Twitter. So this is a one easy place that you can go to figure out where you can be able to get all of the correct usernames that you're wanting in one place and make it really easy for you. So definitely check out this tool. So my big question to you is, have you taken a moment and have you Googled yourself lately? This is something that not many of us have an opportunity to do or don't ever think of doing. And so I really encourage you to take a moment and to actually have a quick Google of your own name and also your company name and just see what shows up. You might be surprised to realize that there's maybe somebody else that has a similar name to you that is maybe quite famous somewhere else, or that maybe your company name is also associated with other companies somewhere else in the world. So when you're going online, you want to really understand how you're showing up in all of these different places. And most of us, we choose Google. It's that one place we go to whenever we have a question, whenever we want to know something. So really take a moment and go in there and just Google yourself, Google your company, and see what shows up. And you might be really surprised. You might have the first page being everything that is associated to you, or you might have something different that you weren't expecting. So do that as just a little check-in to see what shows up. Hopefully, if you're a company, you will be dominating that first page of Google with your company name. If you're a physical location or if you're a brand, you're probably going to see something like this. If we were to do a Google search for Palms Day Spa, which is a local spa here in Richmond, you're going to see that that company name shows up and it's the first page of Google with all of their links. And then on the right-hand side, you see that little map, and then you see that spa information there. This is the other next important thing that you're going to be wanting to doing as a small company or as a personal brand even as well. If you have a Google Plus account, that's where this information is going to be populated from. So that map and all that information, it's owned through the Google products. So there's Google Maps, and then there's a Google Plus page, which kind of links everything together, including your YouTube channel and a lot of other elements too. Make sure that this information is up to date. Most people, especially if you're a physical location, they like that ability to just quickly do a Google search, see these results, and know what your address is, what your phone number is, and when you are open and closed. Most people don't go into your actual website and look anymore because most of them have Google Plus pages that has all this information. So really make sure that this information is up to date, or you could be losing business, especially if you have different hours in the summer versus the winter or around holidays. It's a good idea to make sure that this content is up to date. So the number one thing that you definitely want to be having in today's age is a website. Social media is really great for you to be able to get people excited, to really start to get some momentum, and to really create a really strong brand online. But you don't own those social platforms. The only thing that you can really truly own at the end of the day is your website. So it's really important to have that website and have it be that one place that you can control things. Because if tomorrow Facebook decides that only way that you're going to be able to have anybody see your posts from a business page is by paying, your business might have a huge impact on that decision, and you might have less and less information going out. Whereas your website is something you can always control. So a couple of things that you definitely want to think about when you're having your website. Number one is making sure your website is responsive. So this is meaning that your website's going to show up the same way when it's on a desktop, when it's on a phone, or when it's on a tablet, that it's going to be easy for people to read. The simplest way for you to be able to test that is that if you were to pull up your website on your phone, if you have to do the little pinching with your fingers of making it smaller or making it bigger, that's a good way to say your website's not responsive. So Google changed their algorithm a couple months or almost a year ago now, that if your website is not responsive, it's going to show up less in search. So it's a really big thing for you to make sure that you're doing. If you want to double check to make sure how Google is seeing your website, you can also just go type into Google website responsive checker, and it's going to pop up a result that's going to give you just a Google checker where you can put in your URL, and it'll just crawl your entire website and give you a rating to tell you if you're responsive or not. The next thing you want to think about too is your load time and how relevant your content is. So your load time is just meaning that when somebody goes onto your website and they start clicking on these different pages, do they load quickly, or are you sitting there for a couple of seconds? So even if your website takes 5 seconds to load, it might not seem like a long time, but in today's age, it's considered slow. So it's really important to make sure that your website's loading fast. You don't have a lot of that fancy flash on there that a lot of people used to have. And making sure it's relevant. So if you're doing things like SEO and keyword optimization, making sure that whatever you're showing up for in search, when people go to your website, that they're getting the right results for that search and they're not quickly leaving your website. The next two most important things, I think, are your social engagement and having regular updates to your blog or to your website in the form of a blog. So social engagement, things like shares and likes and comments and people linking from your website to other social channels, has now become a really big piece of really telling Google how well your website does. So having social media channels can be a really big piece for that. Also, Google likes to make sure that you have regular updated content. So having your social feeds on your website, or one of the best things you can do is have a blog, that can really help to make sure that Google's constantly seeing that new content, constantly researching your site, and you're giving people a reason to always come back to your website to look for more information. So the next thing that we want to think about is that once we have that content on your website or you have that landing page, we want to think about how your message is being consumed on social media. So you've got this great information and now we're wanting to share that message online. How are people looking at that? And it's changed a lot. People's experiences, your messages in between their friends and family. So when you're posting something online, about the latest sale, the latest product you have, they're seeing that next to friends and family on vacation, new people getting pregnant and expecting new babies, their wedding pictures, traveling, family functions. So your message is going in between all of those messages. So you really want to think about how your content's showing up and how engaging they're finding it. So I'll share with you a quick little example of what a lot of us tend to do. So if you were to take this example here of this realtor that has this post going out for a piece of property in Kamloops area that she's sharing, and just take a moment and kind of look at this and say, if you were to see this in your newsfeed, what would you think of this? Does this excite you? Does it seem really engaging? Would you want to learn more? For most people, it's not too exciting. It's pretty boring, it's pretty blah. There's a really small image with it. It's not very intriguing. And this is what most of us tend to do. We have a quick little message that we want to share. And so all that we do is we take that information, we throw it onto Facebook, we put a quick little link in there, and we post it out there. And that's all that we tend to do. So what I want to get you to do is just to think about how you can change that content just a little bit. So if you look at this post here, which is another realtor, so we have a nice, beautiful picture, and his content here says, how would you like to make your morning coffee here? Click on the link to find out more. So he's still starting to highlight a property that he's selling. He's still talking a little bit about it, but it's a really fun and engaging way. And it's really getting somebody's emotions with that beautiful kitchen, being able to look at that, imagine themselves there. So starting to think about how can you change your content a little bit from being just that plain, here's the latest listing I have, here's the latest product I'm selling, and make it a little bit more fun and engaging. So here's our secret sauce, what I like to call the 4 E's of engaging content. So this is something that when I worked with Jonathan Christian, that him and we worked together to pull this together. So the 4 E's are educate, engage, empower, and entertain. So when you're developing your content and you're thinking about what it is you want to post, try and develop content that falls into one of these 4 categories or falls into a couple of them. So educational. One of the best ways that you can get people excited about your products or services is to educate them a little bit. The common questions that people might be asking, some of the biggest problems that people might have, the did you knows, some of those interesting facts, how-tos, that can be really fun, engaging content that is informative and educational to people and gets them to learn more about your product without directly coming out and selling them. Engaging. This is a really big piece that, again, a lot of people forget. So having those little interactions, it can be simple things by like asking people questions, asking people to take action, to get involved, even little things such as when people comment on your content, take a moment to like that, to comment back to them, and just be able to have that engagement with it. Social media nowadays has become less engaging. So if you can take those little moments to engage back to people, comment, like on their own content, that's a big piece because not many people tend to do it. Empowering. Things like testimonials, having guest posts, stories, inspirational stories as well too. This can be a very powerful way, especially if you're doing something like a testimonial or case studies where you're getting other people to talk about their experience of your product or with you. This can be a great way for them to really see the value that you bring through another person and hear from their own experiences and hopefully be able to relate to them a little bit as well. And then the last one is entertain. We all love to be entertained. We tend to go on social media to get away from our long day, to get away from our kids, or to get away from our husbands or wives, and just have those few little moments to ourselves. So creating even just that little bit of lighter content, a fun little video, a fun little picture, even just sharing some content that's not necessarily ours can be a really great way for us to be able to highlight about our brand or about our messaging. And if you're thinking, you know what, video is one of those things that I don't want to do, there's some really easy and fun things that you can do to really start to use video. We'll talk about those a little bit more later on today. So now what I'd like to dive into are the 5 social media trends for what to watch in 2017. So there's been a lot of new platforms and a lot of new things that have started to happen over the years. And so these are a couple of the little tips that I'd like to share with you of what you might want to start to integrate into your marketing as we go into the 2017. So it's not saying you have to do absolutely everything, but definitely pick the 1 or 2 things that you might want to start to work with and start to try those out. So number 1, as I mentioned before, is creating quality content. Creating content that people really care about and want to read. So this is an example of a client that I work with called Artisan Log Homes. And it was really funny because when we first started working with them, I was told that there was no way that we would be able to sell log homes by writing blog posts. And so I really took that as a personal challenge and wanted to really see what it was that we could be able to do with this. So I sat down with Josh and the guys and I said, like, you know, what are the most common questions that people ask you? And so on their website, we've created a page called Log Homes 101 that basically goes through the top 10 questions that people tend to ask when it comes to building a log home. What's the number 1 question you can imagine people are going to ask? How much does a log home cost? It's the number 1 question. And in most industries, it's the number 1 question that people ask. I'm sure a lot of you, whenever you're talking to a potential client, at some point, the question always comes up, how much does it cost? And for most companies, they never talk about that content. So we wrote a blog post about how much does a log home cost? And the answer is, it depends. It depends on where you're building the log home, how big it is, what type of wood you're using. There's a lot of elements that come into it. So it was impossible for us to write a blog post that listed every single one. But what we did was we addressed the question. We said that if you're looking to building this type of a log home, this is what you're probably going to range between this much per square foot to this much square foot. You can work with other companies that might offer these things. This is probably what it's not going to include. And we help them to break it down to show them this is roughly what they should be spending. These are the types of things that should be included in that cost. And the response we've gotten from that page has been unbelievable, where they've now gotten emails from clients where they have gone through their website, they've started to map it all out and put together a budget, and basically can come to them to say, we've seen this this design you have on the page, we want this type of wood, we really think that this is the square footage that we're going to be wanting, this is the price point that we think we're going to have based on what you've provided on your website. It's been a really great resource. So one of the things that our biggest strategy with them and with a lot of the other clients that we work with is focusing on what is the main questions that people ask you and write content about that. So you can do it in the form of a blog or even create a separate page on your website that has the main questions on here, or even just sharing that on social media. But the great thing about this is that this is really great quality content that people want to read, people are interested in. And in this case here, it's content that we know if somebody's reading a blog article about how much does a log home cost or what's the difference between the different types of home they build, chances are that they're potentially going to be a client or somebody looking to build in the next 1 to 5 years. So it's a really great piece for us to be able to pull in that quality, those quality individuals that can be potential clients. Number 2 is personalized content. So again, along those same lines of having content that's really quality, it's being able to personalize it. Put on your own personal flair. Have a personality for your brand and also be able to relate to your clients and have a bit of fun with it as well too. So this is a quick post that we did for a nonprofit organization here in the Fraser Valley called the Crystal Gala. So they are an organization that does amazing work helping to support men and women in the Valley and actually all across BC that deal with breast cancer. So as you can imagine, when you're dealing about any form of cancer, it's not exactly the most exciting topic for a lot of people to talk about. So as much as these ladies do a lot of great work, a lot of people don't want to talk about this. And so what we decided to do is that we decided to show a little of their personality about talking about doing those checks that you need to do to ensure that you don't have breast cancer, to finding any abnormalities there. So instead of just posting a post where it says like, don't forget to check yourself, having something fun where we're able to laugh at ourselves and have a little bit of fun with other people and get that really good engagement going back. So being able to personalize it so that it's got really good, strong images, it's got a little bit of that personality behind it, and it gets people wanting to engage and have fun with that content. So being able to personalize your content so that they can relate to it rather than just being a stock photo or a stock image. Really try and get away from that type of content. If you have a really small team or it's just yourself and you're wanting a really good tool to help you to create images, going to a free service like Canva, C-A-N-V-A, fantastic tool where you've got a lot of really good tools where you can be able to create some great overlays, create some really great images, and just be able to put some nice fonts over top of them as well. So you don't need to have a graphic designer there, and you can just be able to create yourself. So again, that's called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. And if you just Google it, you'll be able to find it. It's a fantastic tool for you to be able to create some really awesome looking images. So number 3 is more focused on mobile. Every single day, more and more people are using mobile versus desktop. The way that phones work today, it's very amazing the things that you can do on them. For most of us, whenever we leave the house, there's 3 things we take with us: our keys, our wallet, and our phone. Everywhere we go, we bring our phones with us. We are on them all the time. So having more and more focus and really thinking about how your content shows up on mobile and finding ways that you can integrate and you can do some fun things with mobile. So if you happen to be a physical location or a coffee shop or something like that, having fun with that and sending a message out that if it's a little bit slow, inviting people that for the next hour, it's a 2-for-1 coffee or a 2-for-1 lunch special, or that they can get 10% off visiting your store. Having a little bit of fun with that, because a lot of people carry mobile devices with them everywhere that they go. This is a quick example here in the picture of what the Vancouver airport did. So they were doing some big renovations to the airport a couple of years ago, and they had that ugly carpenter white all through a lot of the different areas of the airport, which doesn't look very pretty, and it's not very appealing for a lot of guests when they go through. So knowing that they had a lot of their users were going to be on their mobile phones and that we're going to be sitting there waiting, they did a big campaign where they encouraged people that when they got on their flight to take a picture and to post it on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and tag YVR Canada in it to show how their flight was when they were transitioning through the YVR airport to wherever their destination was. And then when you did that, they would send you a quick message asking if they can actually take your image, print them, and display them on the wall like this. And it was amazing the responses they had. So what used to be these ugly white walls that were all filled with construction, we're now having these really great pictures of people taking pictures outside of their window or waiting in the different airports while they were getting ready to fly out of the YVR airport. So this is a great example of how you can use mobile as a really fun and engaging opportunity to interact with your audience in real time and get them to have a little bit of fun with it too. So our tip number 4 is call to action buttons. This one I am very, very excited with. So Instagram is probably one of the hottest new platforms out there, and one of the biggest challenges a lot of people have always had is being able to get people to go from your image to a landing page or to contact your business in one way, shape, or form. So a couple of months ago, Instagram rolled out the new Instagram for Business. And if you don't have it yet, you definitely want to go and switch your account over to an Instagram for Business account. In order for you to do that, you do need to have a Facebook page. Little secret, it does not have to be the Facebook page to the account that you are wanting to link it to, but you do need to have a Facebook page. Once you link your account to a Facebook page, it might take a couple days, or depending on your account, you might be able to do it right away. You'll be able to switch it over to a business account. What you're able to do is that where the old business accounts, you had just that one link in your bio that you could be able to link to your website, you can now post content, and now you can run ads to that content and create a link for that individual picture or a different call to action. So for this example here, this is a local spa that we do a lot of marketing for. And we created a call now button on one of our Instagram ads as well, that when we posted this and sent it out, that if somebody could call the spa, they would call directly there and be able to book an appointment. So again, talking about really local and personalized content and using mobile, this is a great opportunity. So for the spa, we use this a ton when we're wanting to focus on getting people into some extra spots that they have available or last minute places that they have available at the spa, and getting them to be able to call in and be able to book that spot right there. So you can be able to use this for really great opportunities for call now or visit your business now, or you can have that to be a link to go to a landing page, to your website, or to a blog page or an offers page. So it's a brand new tool that you're able to do. And you're seeing this through a lot of other different accounts too. So Twitter's been playing around with a couple of different things. Facebook's constantly making some improvements of being able to have call now or action step for you to be able to take now. So finding new ways of how you can integrate this into your sales is another great opportunity. When we talked earlier about using social media as a way for it to help your business, if you're the type of business that you're looking for kind of those last minute opportunities, or you have cancellations last minute, this can be a really great opportunity for you to start to fill some of those empty spaces. And our number 5 is video and live streaming. So video is becoming more and more popular. It is the number 1 type of platform that Facebook likes to share. YouTube is huge on it. There's just becoming more and more popular. The surprising thing is that less than 5% of businesses use video. So if you can be in that group of people that want to use video or live streaming, you can have a huge amount of impact in your business. So for some of you, you might be really afraid to say, I am not comfortable with video. It's nothing I want to do. One thing you can do is you can actually make some fun little slides. So for example, with Artisan Log Homes, what we've done with them is that we have a couple of pictures that we've taken from some of the homes that they've built, and then we just use the video maker or the iMovie that's on your computer, and we just put that together in a series of, put those pictures together to make a series of videos, so it's not a real video, but it's just taking those pictures and making it into a video. And it's the most engaging content that we have. So you can do some fun little things like that to be able to create video, or even just like we're doing right now where you're doing a screen share. So you don't actually have to be on the video to have video as part of your content. But video is one of the most popular types of content that you can be creating, and not many people are doing it. So you can be ahead of the game. So at the end of the day though, what you do want to remember that social media is all about that relationship building. So regardless of the type of content that you're creating, don't forget that when people are commenting on your content, to like them, comment back, to really engage back with people, because it's all about that relationship. And if you make those little interactions, it can really make a big difference in your business. So let's talk about some next steps. We've covered a lot of ground, and hopefully you found this helpful. I know that we probably won't be able to have too many questions because of the platform we're on, which is unfortunate. But what I really do want to encourage you to do is to take a step back, identify your business goals. What is it that you're really wanting to achieve? Why are you wanting to use social media? If it's just to say because everybody else is telling me I should, that's not a good enough answer. You need to figure out what it is that you're wanting to do and start to figure it out. So again, whether it's growing sales, growing into a new marketplace, you want to increase your brand awareness. You want to figure out what that is, what your primary and your secondary accounts are. So if you're one of those people that you're on 12, 15 different accounts and you are exhausted, here's your permission to stop being on all of those accounts. Cut it back, pick those 1, 2, maybe 3 you want to focus on, make all of the rest secondary. Focus on that quality content, so you're posting less content that people care about versus posting more frequently. Focus on building those relationships whenever you're posting content, but most importantly, have fun and love what you do. If you can be having fun, having a great time, building a relationship and enjoying it, people are going to be able to sense that as well. So hopefully you have really gotten a lot out of this. Thank you very much. I will hand it back over to Sierra, and hopefully we can answer a couple of questions that people might have. But if not, feel free to send me an email at cat@catstearns.com, or you can send me a message on Twitter or Instagram or any other social platforms too, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions since we're not able to do that here today. So perfect. I'll hand it back over to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Kat. So actually, we are able to answer some questions. We've actually got some. I've been chatting over here in the live. So if you actually, Kat, if you open like a second screen to go to where everybody else can view, there's actually like a chat on the right-hand side. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for some reason. I can't see it in our moderator screen. You have to go to the regular screen to view it.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, I'm in it right now, and it's showing me that there's just you and me in our chat. So, okay.
Yeah, so if you go over to the regular room, you can see that we've been chatting there. So I'm actually going to go and I'm going to talk a bit more about the Young Women Entrepreneurs Club. There's a couple of guys that I see that are live as well. So it might not apply to you, but we do have, well, we actually know there are some guys. There's a couple of guys in the Young Women Entrepreneurs Club as well, because there's a lot of value in there and it applies to your business, whether or not you're male or female, but we do call it the Young Women Entrepreneurs Club. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about that because Kat and I created a course together, which goes a lot more in depth because, of course, we can only go over so much. In the last, we've been talking now for about, I don't know, 40 minutes or so or something like that. So, of course, we can't cover everything in 40 minutes. So we've created a course which talks more in depth about Facebook and things like that. So I'm going to share my slides with you guys. And then, Kat, you just let me know if you can see it. So let me see. All right. How does that look? Can you see my slide or is it showing up now?
I see it. It's in the small square, so I'm not sure how it looks to everybody else.
Okay. Well, I can kind of see.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So, yeah, Young Women Entrepreneurs Club. This is the kind of like a few tidbits I took out of the course. There's a lot more in there, but these are just a few of the videos that you can find in there. The course is called Social Media Simplified. And so we go over 7 Facebook strategies to grow your business, 3 Instagram hacks you can use to maximize your reach. I know a lot of you are on Facebook and Instagram. Earlier we had Mimi saying that basically Facebook and Instagram, I think she said Instagram and was it Pinterest? Anyways, that are kind of the main things that she uses for her business. Then we also have 5 content strategies, which everyone should write about, and that one is for your blog. And then we also have some LinkedIn and metrics and how to measure your social media, things like that as well inside the course. So it's really useful if you obviously want to, if you're here, it's because you want to grow your business, you're looking to use social media to implement that. So I do highly recommend it for you. If you're on this webinar, definitely it's something that you want to jump into. So how does it work? If you want to join the Young Women Entrepreneurs Club, it's just $25 a month. There's no, it's not like a locked in thing, like you have to have at least 3 months or 6 months. It's not like that. It's just month to month. You can cancel at any time. So, you can try it out for a month. If you don't like it within the first 30 days, then just let me know and then we can refund you for the first month. So you could have a 30-day risk-free trial and you can just try it out and see if you like it or not. I have made it available just for the next 48 hours or so. So until the end of the day on Wednesday, basically is when midnight for Pacific time on Wednesdays is when it's available until. After that, we close the doors and then I'll have to let you guys know when we open the doors again. But basically, if you're on this webinar, then you can get access for the next 48 hours. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till the next opening that we have again. This is only going out to people who are live in the webinar. It's not going out to everybody on my list or social media or anything like that. So if you're on this webinar right now, then you get this VIP access. So what you want to do is you want to go to yweclub.com/VIP. So that's the link that you want to go to in order to take advantage of this. And then once you go there, you'll see the link and you'll see you can just scroll down to the very bottom there where it says join YWEC now. It's a big pink, well, it's kind of not that big, but it's a pink button, which says join YWEC now. You can get access to that right away. And of course, it is a risk-free trial, so it's 30 days. You can play around with it. You can look at all the videos and stuff. We have a lot of other courses there as well. So these are some of the other courses we have. One of them is Perfect Your Pitch. This is for if you do any kind of sales or consulting, or if you speak with clients one-on-one, that's kind of perfect for you to be able to sell them to one of your, either if you do one-on-one consulting or group coaching or anything like that. It's good for being able to create that conversation with your clients. We also have Kindle publishing, so if you want to publish a book online, this is a really great book for or course for you. Building your brand strategy. Of course, social media and building your brand go hand in hand. So I'd probably recommend that one for you if you're on this webinar. Building your brand strategy and social media, you kind of want to do those together. We have one for getting rid of procrastination and also for copywriting as well. So if you're having trouble with any copy or doing sales copy, how to build your sales page, then that's a good one for you as well. And then we do release a new course every single month. So you can, obviously, that's the whole benefit of being part of the membership, is that you get a new course sent to you every month. All right, so go ahead and join now. You can go to yweclub.com/VIP. Again, scroll down to the bottom and click on Join YWEC there. And then you can just fill out a quick profile, and you do your payment information, and you'll get instant access right away. So as soon as you sign up, then you'll be able to get access, and you basically just have the next 48 hours to do so. All right, so I am going to jump right now into Q&A. So I'm sure a lot of people have questions about social media, and there's a lot of, we already have a few people that are posting in here about questions. So I'm going to stop screen sharing, and let's see if how do I do this? Stop sharing, here we go. All right. So let's go ahead and jump right into these questions here. So I'll read the questions out for you, Kat, and then you can obviously answer them. All right. All right, so Lily says, I have a problem getting Google to place our website higher up in the search results. It's a little bit different. That's kind of more SEO stuff, but she says, I have a physiotherapy clinic, and when I type that, it doesn't show up on the search results. So yeah, that's kind of more of an SEO thing, right? But
I'm just actually looking into it right now.
Okay,
so,
okay, I see that you're looking.
Yeah, we're kind of communicating back and forth. So I'll focus on the camera here rather than going online. So what I just responded to Lillian to is that so with your Google Places, there's a couple of things that you want to do. So not just having an account is enough for Google. So you want to make sure that it's linked to your website. So what you're going to need to do is that it's one, filling out your profile, so it's got all of your information in there, including your account, your website address. But you will also get a piece of code that you can actually put into your website that will verify the website address, so that it tells Google that that website is linked to that account. Then if you're also a physical address, which it looks like she is as well too, you should get a Google verification where you can verify your location. So that would mean that Google's going to send you a little postcard that's going to have a like 4 to 6 digit code that you're going to have to input into Google Plus to verify that you're a physical location and that the location is correct. So I would double check and make sure that those things are completed, and that can help with your ranking as well. So she just responded here. She's like, I don't know where to find the check mark. So I took a look too, and it doesn't look like the check mark's on there. So what I would do is, Lillian, is I would definitely go, and if you have somebody that helps you with your website a little bit, they can probably help you with your Google Plus too, is that they're going to need to get a little snippet of code, put that onto your website so that it verifies that your website address is linked to your website, so that your Google Plus page is linked to your website to verify that. And then you're also going to want to make sure that your physical address is verified, and that's going to be going through the steps there and getting a postcard from Google. So if you have any more questions with that, if you need me to walk you through, you can definitely shoot me an email and I can walk you through that a bit more in detail. Any other questions?
Perfect.
Here?
So, yeah.
Sorry if you hear some grinding. My puppy decided to come down and join us last minute.
Oh. Okay, perfect. Let's take a look here. I'm just reading through and seeing the other questions. All right, so we have a couple people here who just are looking to figure out how they can drive traffic to their website. Obviously, that's kind of, let's see.
So yeah, it's a really tough question because it depends what type of traffic you're trying to drive. Obviously, it's not just to have the amount of traffic, it's the right type of traffic. So again, really coming down to who's your target audience, because if you are targeting just a really narrow demographic, sending a big wide amount of traffic to your website isn't going to do you any good. And you might be spending more time going through leads that aren't the right leads versus spending time with people that are correct. So some really great things that you can do, really engaging content to get people really excited about it. Creating offers and small contests are always fun. It's a good way to kind of drive people back to it, offering small little specials or discounts. And using ads can be a really good and effective way for you to do that too. But to get really into the specifics, it's a little bit tough without kind of talking about a specific campaign or a specific target audience or a specific type of platform. So I don't know if anyone's got an idea here.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I think, so our Penrose, he just launched his website a couple days ago, so congratulations on that. But basically, he wants to drive traffic to his website, and I think the focus that he has a little bit more is he's like, because he's mentioning to someone else in the chat box, hey, can you share my website and I'll share yours? But he doesn't really know, he didn't really figure out if they had the same target audience yet, right? So you really want to, before you just drive any traffic to your website, you got to figure out if it's the right traffic for you, right? You don't want to waste your time or drive traffic that's not relevant, because it costs time and money to do those things, right? So you want to make sure that you're driving the right people to your website. And then, so we have Mimi here who says, she's asking if it's okay for her to share her website. Wait. All right, Mimi had a few questions. So her first question is it okay if she shares her site to see if you have any recommendations for her? Recommendations to see which platforms is best for her product. She has high-end luxury leather handbags. She wants to convert that to sales. She was actually on our last webinar, so I remember Mimi from last month. But she said she was having trouble. She was having a lot of engagement on Instagram, but it wasn't converting to sales last time she spoke on here. So that's kind of her biggest thing right now.
Okay, perfect. So what I would definitely suggest is with Instagram. So this is the biggest problem that people tend to have, is that you're not able to link out of the pictures if you're in a personal account. So Mimi, I think the one thing you definitely want to do is definitely check and see if you have a business Instagram account or if you're still on the personal account. And if you're on the business one, switch that over. And then what you can be able to do is now you can actually post your pictures of the handbags and you can run ads to a direct link onto your website, so that it's going right to the direct page that people can be able to purchase those handbags. If you can't do that, and if you don't have a business Facebook page and you can't do it that way, it's a little bit of a difficult thing to do, but what you can do is you just change the link in your bio every single time, and then you just put in there in your description with every post is that your link to that specific handbag is in your bio attached. You just want to be careful you're not switching those out too often. Typically 2 to 3 days is the quickest you'd want to switch them out. So it does stop you from posting more regularly. But with Instagram specifically, I would definitely do that. And then I don't know if you were using anything else, but for Instagram, that's definitely the key thing I would do is focus on that. Well, just trying to be able to engage with other people, other accounts, and getting more followers that are targeted for that. But the biggest thing to go from Instagram to your website is changing that over to a business account. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I didn't even know that about the business account. So you need a business account in order to have the links work in like the comments?
Yes. So it'll be, so you'll post your post on Instagram, and then once it goes live, it'll say, do you want to promote this? And you can promote it by having a call to action where it's like call the store, visit our location, or you can link it to a specific landing page on your website, or a lead page, or a sales page, or something like that.
Does it have to be an ad in order for that link to work to go to your
It does.
website? Okay.
It does. The only other option is using your link in your bio.
Got it. Okay, good to know. So Lily says she did get a postcard for her physical location, but she's gonna email you just to get clarification on that because she got the website verification code and she's not sure what to do with that, I guess. And then we have David Newman saying, what social listening tools do you suggest for tracking buzz and comments on social media?
So I'm not sure, David, if you're talking about tracking buzz and stuff on your own content, or tracking stuff that is out there that's just about your brand. So when you get a chance, if you want to add to that comment. So a couple of ones that are really good is using a tool like Hootsuite. I love Hootsuite very much. You can be able to create some listening tools that are geo-targeted. So what that means is that you can say, take a radius, like we'll use Vancouver, and you can say that within a 15-mile radius, anybody that tweets using the hashtag coffee, you can create a feed that will show up in a feed in Hootsuite, and you can be able to see that. So you can be able to see the types of conversations that are going on about different brands that way. Things you can do in Hootsuite with that. If you're talking more about your business and being able to see, okay, what's everybody talking about with your business specifically, doing a search on social mentions and Google Alerts, those are going to be the two big ones. So social mentions is just like the Google Alerts for social media. So that's a really good way to be able to follow your business there as well too. So if you if there's something more specific, we can definitely share a bit, but those are two really good tools that you can be able to use. There's another tool that I like to use that's with hashtags, and I'm just trying to remember what it's called because I haven't used it in a long time, but where you can be able to put in any hashtag and it'll show it across any platform where it's being used as well. So that's another good tool. Let me just see if I can remember what it's called. Tagboard, that's what it's called.
What was that?
It's been a long day. So Tagboard, Tagboard. So it tracks all the hashtags across all the different social media platforms. So it's a really fun tool. I like to use it as a sneaky way to find out, okay, what are other popular hashtags people are using? So if you were to type in a hashtag like, say, hashtag YVR, it'll bring up everybody that's posting with that hashtag YVR across different platforms, and then you can pick which platforms you only want to look at. And then you can start to see what other hashtags they tend to use with that as well too. So you might see YVR, Vancouver, North Van, a bunch of other things that way too. So that's a nice little tool too.
Okay, perfect. So Mimi got a response to her question about the handbag. So she believes that it is a business account on Instagram, but she's going to check to make sure. And she's asking, how often should she post pictures?
Perfect. So the short answer is it depends. It totally depends on the type of content you have, how many followers you have, what you're doing. So the more followers you start to have, the more frequently you can post, because just like Facebook, Instagram does now have a bit of an algorithm there where your content always doesn't show up. It's not in a sense where Facebook, you might never see the post. So on Instagram, you'll still see it. It's just mixed in a different way, but it makes it a lot harder. People have to scroll further through to see their content. So you can possibly post a little bit more with using Instagram, but again, quality content. If you're just posting just to post, I would encourage you to use a little bit of an ad spend to get a bit further of a reach than to just post kind of mediocre images. But if you've got a lot of content, then I would start to play around with it. So there's a tool that I like to use called Onlypult, ONLYPULT service, but it's worth it. It's $12 a month. You're able to schedule your content on Instagram, and unlike Hootsuite where you post into Hootsuite and then you have to actually still go onto your phone and you have to approve it to make it go live, do that. It actually posts it live right there. It does it for video and for images. So if the best time for you to post is 5 o'clock in the morning, you're not having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But what Onlypost also does is it also pulls in all of the analytics and all of the data. So after your first month, you can actually go in there and you can look at the best times for you to post and when people are most active. And that's going to help you to identify when the best time for you to post is. So if you realize that on a Thursday, you've got like 5 really high peak times that you've got, you know, if you've got a couple thousand followers on Instagram that they're in on, then that's perfect, versus a Wednesday where maybe there's only people on early in the morning and late at night. So it's a good way for you to kind of gauge what you're going to be able to do. So I would really look into, you know, how many followers you have, how people are engaging with your content currently. If you're getting a lot of strong engagement, you can start to add to that. But I would find a tool too that you can have some analytics with it, so you're not over posting and starting to get people turned off by your content too.
Okay, perfect. So I asked if anyone had wanted more clarification on some of the questions that we answered, and I got no response. So I guess we're answering them okay.
Okay, that's a good sign too.
David said something, but I'm not sure what he means by this. He just said, out there about brand to help refocus. I'm not sure what that means.
Okay, so yeah, he's asking social mentions, so I'm going to just send that to him. He gets.
Okay, yeah, and Lily is wondering how to spell social mentions.
I will send that in the notes right now so they all get it. So there's the URL to social mention.
Okay.
And then they can have that. So yeah, social mention is a really good one for that. There's a lot of other tools out there too as well. If you're wanting to pay, you can get into some great ones. Like HubSpot is a fantastic tool that you can do a lot of listening. Hootsuite, you can do some really simple things too as well, especially around some simple platforms. You can do a lot of listening. For Twitter, I find Twitter's probably one of the best ones you can do a lot of listening with too. So there's a lot of other ones. There's a tool called Follower Wonk. So follower and then WONK. It's another good one that you can start to kind of listen and see what your competitors are doing and get a sense of that too. So yeah, social mentions is a good one to really start with, and then Tagboard for hashtags too.
Okay, so let us know if you guys have any more questions, or we can end the webinar here. If I don't get anything in the next 30 seconds, then we'll just end the webinar. So I think
thank you everybody for joining us and for putting up with our technical difficulties too. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad we were able to make it work, even though our original plan didn't work. We were able to kind of put this together last minute. It was either this or reschedule for tomorrow, but I'm glad that we were able to make this work. And since we did have technical difficulties, I'll be sending this video out to everyone as well. So you'll be able to get that video pretty soon.
Sorry.
All right. So Mimi says questions are answered for her, and she says thanks, ladies. So I think we can just end the webinar here. I'll email out the probably by tomorrow. You guys will get the video and everything like that, so that you can get that. Tagboard. Is it tagboard.com for the?
Correct. I'll put that actually in here as well, so people have it. Yeah,
because Lily's asking about that. Okay, perfect. And then R. Penrose says, no questions. Just want to say thank you both very, very much for this. I'm very happy. Perfect. Yay. Okay, I'm so glad that we were able to make this work today. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for staying here until the end. You guys are amazing. And I hope to see you guys in next, either inside the Young Women Entrepreneurs Club, or on the next webinar. We do have webinars every month. So thank you guys so much for coming today. And yeah, and then we'll see you guys the next month or sooner.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. And if you have any more questions, let me know. Totally feel free. I'll put my email address in here too as well. Thanks again so much, Sierra. I'm glad we made this work, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kat. Bye now.
Bye.